Hey guys, Garrett from Garrett's Guitar Lessons here, and today we're going to be talking about mixing modes, kind of revolving around the major modes. Alright, so today I'm going to be talking about three different major modes, which is going to be Ionian, Mixolydian, and Lydian. And today I'm going to be talking about everything in our C shape in the key of A. So my pinky is going to be found on the 12th fret on the 5th string, and that's going to be where my scale shapes are going to be kind of anchored. So first I'm going to go through the scale positions, which my major scale is going to be found at the 12th fret, 5th string, and then 9th, 10th, 12th on the 4th string, 9th, 10th on the 3rd string, 9, 10, 12 on the 2nd string, 9, 10, 12 on the 1st string. My Mixolydian scale is going to start out that same root note, A, on the 5th string, 12th fret, then 9th, 10th, 12th on the 4th string, 9th, 10th, 12th on the 3rd string, 10, 12 on the 2nd string, and then 9, 10, 12 on the 1st string. And then my Lydian is going to be 12th fret on the 5th string, and then 9, 11, 13 on the 4th string, and then 9, 11 on the 3rd string, 9, 10, 12 on the 2nd string, and then 9, 11, 12 on the 1st string. Now, what's important here is to start seeing what's different between these modes. And if you watch my scale videos, I'll certainly talk about what separates everything. But basically, we're comparing everything in a major scale. It's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. My Mixolydian has a flat 7, so everything else is the same. And my Lydian has a sharp 4. Everything else is the same as compared to the major scale. Now I'm just going to kind of isolate these differences, I'm just going to be focused on the top 3 strings. So my major scale is going to be 9, 11 on the 3rd string, 9, 10, 12 on the 2nd string, then 9, 10, 12 on the 1st string. My Mixolydian is going to be 9, 11, 12 on the 3rd string, 10, 12 on the 2nd string, and then 9, 10, 12 on the 1st string. And then my Lydian is going to be 9, 11 on the 3rd string, 9, 10, 12 on the 2nd string, and then 9, 11, 12 on the 1st string. Now the whole point of this is to hear the differences between those scales. So the flat 7 for the Mixolydian and the sharp 4 for the Lydian. Now one way to do that is sometimes the chords will dictate that to you. So let's say we're playing an A, which is all those scales I just went through, and there's a B right after it. Right? Or maybe there's an A or a G sharp minor. This is going to be telling me, okay, I see this D sharp right here, which is going to be my sharp 4. And I find the same note kind of in my G sharp minor as well. So if the whole song is just A to B or A to G sharp minor, or you see something like that and the home bass feels like A, then we're going to be in Lydian. The flat 7, well, most likely we see this with A and then a G chord right after that. So we see A and then G. It's most likely going to be our Mixolydian. Again, that's if our A feels like home. So I'm going to go through a couple licks in which hopefully we could kind of hear and see the differences between those scales. I'm only going to be focusing again on those top 3 strings in order to kind of isolate those differences. A good way to practice that is by playing over something that doesn't have that much information on it. I have a couple backing tracks of just a drone or even just a static chord that can kind of help practice, that way you can hear the differences between the modes. So you can kind of weave in and out of these modes if you don't have that information, like that A to B or A to G sharp minor or A to G. So let's go through some licks to kind of help us weave in and out of these modes if, again, we don't have that the information that kind of dictates a certain scale. Alright, so here's the first lick. Alright, so here we go. So this is going to be my 10th fret on the 2nd string, and then 9th fret on the 2nd string, and then back to the 10th, and then slide or hammer from my 10th fret to my 12th fret on the 2nd string, hammer on my 9th to 11th on my 3rd string, 10th on the 2nd string, 9th on the 1st string, 10th on the 1st string, and then 12th on the 1st string, bend up, and then down again. So this is all happening in my Ionian or my major scale. Now when I go to move this lick into other modes, I have to think about what's different between the Ionian or the major scale and the modes I want to change it to. So the Mixolydian has a flat 7. So when I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, alright, that note needs to be changed every time I see it. Now I need to go to a flat 7, which in the scale position is going to be in the 12th fret, 3rd string. Okay, so now instead of going that second note, that 9th fret, is going to be replaced with the 12th fret on the 3rd string. So I'm going to go 10 on the 2nd string, 12 on the 3rd string, back to the 10 on the 2nd string, then slide up, or again, kind of hammer on that 12th fret on the 2nd string, and then the last of the lick is actually going to be exactly the same. 9, 11, 10, 9 on the 1st string, 10, 12, bend up. There we go. So here it is in Mixolydian mode. So I'm going to be going back to my original major scale lick, and now I'm going to be thinking, okay, I want to go into my Lydian mode. Okay, so what's different between the Lydian? And this is going to be the sharp 4. Now, since I'm just focusing on the top 3 strings, it's going to be moving my 10th fret on the 1st string to my 11th fret on the 1st string. So the lick is basically going to be exactly the same. 10, 9, 10, 12 on the 2nd string, 9, 11 on the 3rd, 10 on the 2nd, 9th, and then 11th on my 1st string, and then bend up on that 12th, and then back down. So that is. So you can kind of hear the differences when we play all 3 back to back. So I'm going to go through the second lick. Alright, so this one again is taking place in my major scale or my Ionian mode. And I'm going to start out with a bend on the 12th fret, 2nd string. Release that bend to the 12th fret on the 2nd string. Then 10, 9, 10 on the 2nd string. And then I'm going to be pulling off my 12th fret to 10th to 9th on my 1st string. Back to the 10th fret on my 2nd string, and then hammer on my 9th to 11th on my 3rd string, and then we go into the 9th fret on the 2nd string, and then bend up on my 12th fret on the 2nd string. Okay, so all together. Okay, so now when I go to change the modes, again, I need to think about which note is different. So in this lick right here, I'm really only seeing the 7th happen just twice on the 9th fret on the 2nd string. So now every time I play that note, I need to replace it with one note a half step lower. Again, and I find that one in the scale position on the 12th fret on the 3rd string. So now I'm going to be bending up on the 12th fret and then releasing that. 10th fret on the 2nd string, 12th fret on the 3rd string, back to the 10th fret on the 2nd string, pull off 12, 10, 9 on the 1st string, 10th on the 2nd string, and then 9, 11 on the 3rd string. Instead of going to my 9th fret now, again, now we're in the Mixolydian mode, 12th fret, and then bending up on that 12th fret on the 2nd string. So here it is, Mixolydian. So for the Lydian, I need to replace the 4th, which I'm finding on the 10th fret 1st string, with the 11th fret on the 1st string for that sharp 4 Lydian sound. So. Alright, so this one only happens once in this lick, so I'm going to be finding that, well, so the first part of the lick is going to be exactly the same. Bend up on the 12th fret, down, that's on the 2nd string, 10, 9, 10 on the 2nd string, and then pull off 12, 11, 10 on the 1st string, 10 on the 2nd string, 9, 11 on the 3rd string, 9th, and then bend up on the 12th fret, and the 9th and 12th fret all happen on the 2nd string. So that is. And again, I think you'll be hearing the difference a lot more if you're kind of playing to a backing track for like an A, and kind of play all 3 one after one another. So here's the 3rd lick. Okay, so again, this one is happening in my Ionian or my major scale. So now I'm going to be starting with my 9th fret on the 3rd string, 10th on the 2nd, and then 9, 11 on the 3rd string, 10, 9 on the 2nd string. And then I'm going to be going 11, on the 3rd string, 10th on the 2nd string, 9th fret on the 1st string. Pull off 9, 10, 9, 12, 10, 9 on the 1st string. And then 10, 9, 10 on the 2nd string. Okay, so now when I go to change it to my Mixolydian mode, I need to be changing all those 9s on that 2nd string to 12s on the 3rd string. Okay, so the first little bit's going to be the same. 9, 10, 9 on the 3rd string, 10th on the 2nd, 9, 11 on the 3rd string, 10 on the 2nd string, 12 on my 3rd string, and then 11 on the 3rd, 10 on the 2nd, 9th on the 1st, and then pull off 12, 10, 9 on the 1st string. And now I'm going to be going 10 on the 2nd string, 12 on the 3rd string, 10 on that 2nd string. And now to change this lick to our Lydian mode, all we have to do is now replace everything that happens on the 10th fret on the 1st string with the 11th fret on the 1st string. So the first little bit's going to be exactly the same as my major scale. So 9, 10, 3rd, 2nd, and then 9, 11 on the 3rd, and then 10, 9 on the 2nd string, and then 11, 3rd, 10 on the 2nd string, 9 on the 1st string, 12, pull off to 11 on the 1st string, and then 9th on the 1st string, and then 10, 9, 10 on the 2nd string. So that is. And here they are back to back. So there we go. There are some ways that we can mix modes for our major kind of modes and give those a try with some backing tracks or even just a drone note. And you can kind of hear how all those notes really do play a big difference in terms of how the licks are going to sound and how you might kind of treat some of these scales. If you like this video, be sure to check out GarrettsGuitarLessons.com for more free lesson videos and free resources. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video, and leave me a comment in the comment section below. Thank you.